Now, because making plans to deal with boredom can be very stressful and time consuming, the best time for this is while the patient is still in residential treatment, that is during admission, where the patient is in a relaxed environment and doesn't have access to drugs. This process is best done with the help of a friend or a healthcare personnel, maybe social worker or case manager. So let's begin. Now, we'll be using 3 worksheets for this activity on handling boredom. Now, the worksheets we are using are adaptations of what is used in our drug addiction recovery program in Calabar. So we start by having the patient document a list of all the fun activities that they engaged with to handle boredom in the last 12 to 6 months. They are also encouraged to list both the activities that were linked to drugs as well as those that were not linked to drugs in any way. They should also list the days as well as estimate the time of the day that they usually experience boredom in the past. Next, they are given the fun activity option worksheets and told to tick the activities that appear to be both fun and engaging. They are encouraged to tick at least 3 activities from each of the 6 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 3 activities from each of them. Now, if there are activities that they want to try out but are not on the list, this can be written down under the others option. Example, a patient felt like the activities in media unit of a church would be fun, but there's no media unit under the church group option. So the media unit was now put under the option of others under the social group category activity. Also, the patient wanted to try out cycling alone, which is under the sports option. She also chose that under the physical activities option and gardening as shown in her completed worksheets. It is important to mention that there are 4 rules to consider while ticking items on this worksheet. Rule number 1, these activities should be easily accessible from home at all times. Rule number 2, they should not be cost intensive to engage with over long periods of time. And rule number 3, the current level of support from the family members is enough to make engagement easy. And number 4, the activity should be fun and exciting to the patient. Their past experiences or imagination can help decide if each activity is fun. Now, to make things more interesting, at this stage, they can be given a task or maybe an homework of asking the people around them for other activities that these people do for fun. And the list can be updated under their respective categories. So, what activity would be fun that is not on this list? Feel free to drop your comments. For the next stage, they'll write down every activity that they had selected in the previous worksheet into a new worksheet called the action plan worksheet. This will be followed by them writing down the obstacles or the barriers that would prevent them from engaging in all the selected fun activities within a 3-week period. Next, they will write in short form a solution to overcome each identified obstacle. Lastly, they will document an action plan that will show how they would eliminate the barriers and proceed to end with engaging with each selected fun activity on a specific date that is within a 3-week period. Any fun activity which the action plan cannot show how to overcome its obstacles and engage with the fun activity within 3 weeks will need to be reviewed or discarded from the list. This issue often happens when the 4 rules for selecting the fun activities were not followed. Occasionally, instead of discarding the activity because it was not engaged with within 3 weeks, engaging this activity can be made into a medium or a long-term goal that can be pursued later on. Now, the activities on the action plan worksheet, after they have been engaged with at least once, engaging with them at least once is a way of testing if it meets the definition of fun for the patients. Now, once the activities have been engaged with at least once, they can now be transferred or transcribed to the 30-day activity calendar. Now, when you're moving these activities to the 30-day activity calendar, you will write the activities under the days at the time that the patient had reported experiencing boredom the most in the past. Now, if there are other activities left after you have finished adding the activities on the calendar days that Boredom was experienced, the remaining activities can be attached to other days of the month, or you can shift them to the next month. It's important to mention that at least twice a month, the case manager should assess if patient was able to engage these fun activities on their due dates. For any activity that was not engaged on their due dates, highlight and address any new obstacles that may have come up before you reattempt engagement again. So, in concluding this webinar, dealing with boredom this way is a tasking process, yes, but the benefits, which include learning how to plan and problem solving skills, as well as imbibing qualities such as accountability and responsibility, this will ultimately result in the patient having a sense of purpose and direction, and they get to have fun in the end. When you're considering managing people who are struggling with addictions, the importance of having available plans to handle boredom as part of your relapse prevention strategy cannot be overemphasized. So thank you for participating in this training webinar, and thank you for using your new skills to help people who are facing different forms of addiction.